Hello everyone, thanks for stopping by. My name is Jim Falk and I'm with trailgear.org. Today I'm going to show you how to build a hammock stand that's portable and collapsible that can be used with situations where you only have one tree, and I'm also going to show you how to use this with no trees. The hammock stand consists of three sections of 1-inch oak dowel rods and 1-inch 450-pound PVC piping. At the top, where it's connected together, you can see there's an eye bolt with a carabiner. And as you slide down, there's section 1, where the dowel rods insert into the 1-inch PVC piping. There's section 2 and section 3 on the bottom. Okay, let's talk about the parts that you're going to need. You're going to need to get a 1-inch piece of PVC piping. This comes in 8-foot lengths, and the PVC piping you need is 1-inch thick-walled, high-quality, high-pressure PVC piping. This piping is rated at 450 psi. They also make a thin-walled PVC pipe at 1-inch diameter. Do not use the thin wall. Use the thick wall that is rated at the higher pressure of 450 psi. Also, what you're going to need is 4 36-inch, 1-inch diameter solid oak dowel rods. You'll also need 6 8/32 by 1.5-inch long machine screws with matching wing nuts. Now we're going to build the legs for the hammock stand. Hammock stand consists of 2 legs. Each leg will have 4 sections of 1-inch wood dowel and 3 sections of PVC pipe. Each section of the wood dowel is 14.5 inches long. So you need to cut out of your 36-inch length, cut 4 at 14.5 inches from end to end. The PVC pipe, 8-foot length, you'll need to cut 3 sections 10 inches long from end to end. 10 inches long, 3 sections. Take your PVC pipe and mark it 2.5 inches up from the end and draw a line across it. 2.5 inches up from the end. Your 1-inch dowel rod, mark it at 5 inches up from the end. 5 inches, draw a line. Take your 1-inch dowel rod and insert it into the PVC pipe up to the 5-inch mark. 5-inch mark right at the edge. Now you'll need to take a drill and a drill bit and drill a hole completely through both of the pipes for your machine screw to secure it. The machine screw is an 8/32 machine screw, so I use a 5/32 drill bit. You want a drill bit that is just big enough for the screw to press through with no play. You don't want any play. You want this to be a snug fit. At the 2.5-inch mark on the PVC pipe, drill through all of the pipes, both pipes. Then take your machine screw, push it through, and your wing nut on the other side. Now you want this to be snug. It doesn't have to be rock solid, but I mean it does have to be snug. If you can't get it snug enough with your hands, then take a screwdriver and put it on one side of the machine screw and then just tighten it. Okay, now that you've completed building your legs, you're going to have 3 sections where you've got the 14.5-inch wood dowel inserted 5 inches up into the PVC pipe, and 2.5 inches up you're going to have the machine screw with the wing nut securing the leg into the PVC pipe. You have 3 sections like this, and the 4th section is just a 14.5 inch piece of 1 inch oak dowel, and this is the top piece. So you'll drill your holes in the top for your eye bolt and your carabiner, and this is what you'll hang your hammock on. Make sure that you get your hardware adequate enough to suspend the weight load that you're dealing with. I think most of these are rated at 280 pounds, so that should be adequate for me. But make sure that you get beefy enough hardware, because otherwise you could be dropping to the ground. Now what we're going to do is put this together. If you notice, on 3 of the pieces of wood dowel I have wrapped a little bit of duct tape around it, and the reason for this is when you insert these pieces together, this piece will slide into here 5 inches, butting up against the other 5-inch piece that is secured in the PVC piping, and the duct tape stops any slop and play. It'll make it nice and snug. So I highly recommend that you take a little bit of duct tape and wrap it around so it just fits in nice and snug. So we're going to assemble them. The piece that goes on the ground has no duct tape, so you take the 2nd piece, slide it in, take the 3rd piece, slide it in. It's a little snug. What I do is I take it and I wrap it until it's down, nice and snug, like such. And then the top piece just slides in here, and your eye bolt goes in through your hole. Now, on my version, I've drilled 2 holes. One at 2 inches down from the top, and the other one 4 inches down, and they're offset, as you can see. And this is for if I want to make adjustments for different type of hammocks when I'm in the field. And now we're out in the backyard, and I'm showing you the complete system with the hammock setup. I have a stationary pole, or in your case it could be 1 tree on this side, and on this side I have the portable hammock stand and staked out with 2 guide wires off the back side. Here I want to show you how I attached the carabiner to the eye bolt and in my hammock. The eye bolt goes through both legs with a sizable wing nut on the back to secure it. So I have both legs attached all the way down to the ground. And they're attached together at the top with this eye bolt. Now, I've used 18 feet of some heavy cordage that I bought at Home Depot, and it's 1 solid piece, and basically I put a loop knot on the one side and just looped it over both of the poles, and then staked it out down there, and I also staked it out down there. Now, as far as staking goes, don't stake it directly behind the portable hammock stand. You want to stake them out about 5 to 10 degrees to each side. So this way 5 to 10 degrees, and then stake out this side 5 to 10 degrees, so the pole is kind of back and outward. You don't want to run your guidelines to support the hammock stand straight down. Do not run it straight down. Run them out on an angle this way and an angle that way. Let's talk about the stakes. You're going to need some beefy stakes to secure the hammock stand. Do not use your standard lightweight backpacking stakes. These thin metal ones will not work. This one here is made out of lightweight aluminum alloy. This will not work. You need something long and strong for the two stakes to stake out your hammock stand. These are made of plastic, but I think they're long enough to secure the hammock stand. Now, what I use to really make sure is I went to Home Depot and I picked up these anchor stakes. They're made out of solid steel. They're not that heavy, but they're folded steel, so they have a lot of weight, and they've got a double bend where you can hook your guide wire into each one of these and pound these into the ground. Now make sure when you pound them at an angle outward away from your hammock stand. These are strong, and I found that these work the best. So, just a note about your hammock stand positioning. You basically want your hammock stand to tilt outward just a few degrees, because once you get in a hammock, this will straighten up to a vertical position. So have it tilt out just a few degrees. And a final note on your hammock stand, the foot legs where they touch the ground should be about 2 feet apart. Here I'm using my sandals to illustrate how far apart they should be. If you put the legs spread out too far, you will lose structural integrity with the hammock stand. You could end up on the ground sometime in the middle of the night. So you want the legs closer together. I recommend no more than 2 feet apart or 2 foot lengths apart. Here's the bottom. Here's the top. Okay, now I'm going to show you an alternate way to use the portable hammock stand to set up your hammock with no trees. Only this time I'm going to use my car as the second post. Okay, in order to use your car as one of the anchors or as one of the trees for your hammock stand, what you do is you can use your doors and the frame of your car as the anchor points. What I've done is I've taken my guide wire guide line and I've doubled it over with a double looped knot, and you can use a variety of different double looped knots to make this. And then I also took a piece of rubber inner tube and you put it over the line like this, and it helps protect your car from any damage or scratches. This. Put it over your door jamb. Now, you want to put this towards the hinge side. That's the strongest side of the door. Don't put it towards the latch side. Put it on the hinge side. And then close the door. Once you close the door on the top half, you're locking the double loop hanging out of the top with rubber inner tube to help protect the interior of the car and your door. And then what you do is you run your guide wire down the inside of your door and have it come out the bottom. And again, you can see the rubber inner tube over the line to protect the car. And then from there, you run it out a little bit to a stake in the ground. And this, if you run into a situation where you're running low on tent stakes, here's an alternate way to set up your guidelines using your car. On the other side, you see the double end loop where the carabiner will hang, and then your hammock will hang off of that. And then what you do is you run the guidelines through the inside of your car, just underneath the headliner, and out the opposite door. And here I've tied a trucker's spike hitch. And again, you can see the rubber inner tube titer that goes in between the door jamb. And this again, place it close to the hinge side. That's the strongest side of the door. And then put the trucker's spike hitch over the line and then close the door. And your third option that I use often, if you have long enough cord, is you can have your double-end loop on the one side of your car where the carabiner is going to connect, and your hammock to that. And you can run the line through the inside of your car, downward to the bottom of the opposite door, and then out that door to a stake. And there's the finished product. A hammock suspended by the portable hammock stand, and the car as the second tree. Now, I'm not showing how to put a tarp over the top of this because I'm assuming most of you who are hammock campers know how to set up your own tarp, so I'm foregoing that detail. As you can see, it works like a charm. One final tip, I'm going to show you the trucker spike hitch. Special note, the cordage that you use for guide wires and anchor lines should be a good quality, no stretch or non-stretch cordage that has a high weight breaking point. Do not use paracord for this application. It's not the cordage to use. It has stretch in it. This is like triple braided or quadruple braided nylon climbing rope. So it works really well. What you need to do for the knot is take your line and double it over. In other words, always use double line for anchor points. It's double strong and it's double safe. Take it, double it over, loop the one end over the other, like this. And where they cross, put your fingers and pinch, take this loop and push it over the two underneath. The two underneath, reach through, grab, pull up, and slide your spike through it, and then pull it tight. And that is your trucker's spike hitch. Now, for a spike, you got to use something very strong. In this case, I used a scrap piece of the 1-inch solid oak dowel rod. I suggest that you keep a couple of these pieces extra in your kit. They come in handy, and it's a good spike for this application. Now we're down to the final stage, the breakdown and packing of the portable hammock stand. Basically just take the legs apart. The ones that have the machine screw to anchor the pieces together, take the machine screw out. I always store the wing nuts with the machine screws. And the two pieces, what I do is I just slide one into the other for compactability. And then here's your whole setup to be stored. The whole thing comprises of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rods, 2 carabiners, an eye bolt, a couple of washers, and a sizable wing nut for your eye bolt, and 6 8/32 by 1.5 inch long machine screws with matching wing nuts. This may not be something you want to take with you on a backpacking trip, but this is definitely something that's good for car camping, which I do a lot of these days. So I always have this set up in the trunk of my car, and it works really well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day.